Okay, for the next section, we're going to take a look at the caged minor chords. And as I've already mentioned, don't worry, we are going to move on to scales and getting you moving around a fingerboard. But like I said, my whole kind of playing idea is based around chord shapes. And as I've already mentioned, I use them for finding scales and arpeggios. And when I'm soloing, I like to visualise chords. I like to visualise chords all over the neck and just not in one, little area, if you like. Okay, so we've looked at major chords, and I did our little demonstration of playing through every single major chord in less than 3 minutes, and that's always a bit of an eye-opener when you're doing a guitar clinic or doing a class or something, because students are always, well, how can you play all these chords? There must be hundreds of chords, and it's, well, if you organise them in this fashion, then it's much more, as I've said, digestible. You're not trying to take in too much. It's manageable. So the main difference between a major and a minor chord is the fact that we flatten the third. So our minor chord, the formula is root, flat 3 and a fifth. So if we take our C major, take a look at that chord, got to find the third. There's the third, remember, by knowing the formula, root, third, fifth, root, third. All I've got to do is take that E note and turn it into E flat. So I've refingered the chord, so I'm playing 3rd fret A, 1st fret D, open G, 1st fret B. Now you can't play the top string. I suppose really you could do something like that if you wished. Add another G on the top there, which is makes for quite a nice voicing. But other than that, that's the voicing. Don't touch the top E, because you can hear that's pretty bad, okay, because you're going to have an E and an E flat in there. So there's our C minor. So if we now move up to our C major as an A shape, remember the A shape formula, root, fifth, root, third, fifth. Take the third, flatten it, and there's our A minor chord shape. Okay, when we move on to the G minor, this chord's slightly trickier, because there's our major third there. If we lower that by a semitone, it's actually there on the G string. Okay, we do have to alter the shape slightly. Probably the easiest way for you to play this is that way, where we just play the top part of the chord. So that would be the 5th fret of the D and then the 8th fret G, B and top E. There is also this voicing, which is 8th fret of the bottom E, 6th fret of the D, 6th fret of the A, 5th fret D, 5th fret G. Now, I don't play that voicing, but I'm aware of it from an arpeggio point of view. So even though it's not a chord of choice, I'm still aware of the notes and still able to play it. Now, my voicing, because I've got this ridiculous stretch between my first and second fingers, I play it like that, which I'm not suggesting that you play it in that way. The reason why I play it like that and not with that little finger is I get a much more accurate fretting position across those top 3 strings. So my second finger comes over the top there and plays the 6th string at the 8th. I mute the A, play the 5th fret D, I play the 8th fret of the G, 8th fret B, 8th fret top E. And there's my G minor chord. I'll show you all of these chords in open position in a second. Okay, now back to our E major shape of C. Remember, there's the third. The formula was root, 5th, root, 3rd, 5th, root. Flatten the third. And there we have it. And our final chord shape, the D shape, remember, the third was on the top. Flatten it. If you're playing the other version, simply drop the note on the bottom E down by a semitone to the 11th fret. And then here's the movable shape of our C minor. We have this little minor triad here, which is 13 on the D, 12 on the G, 13 on the B, and our little finger plays 15 on the A. Again, not really a chord that I frequent. I tend to play the minor 7th, minor 9, or there's another version of the minor 7th there as well. But from a point of view of playing an arpeggio, I'm playing, there's that part of the chord, and I will play that quite a lot, whereby I'm simply, fragmenting it. Okay, so it's always handy to be aware of, the whole chord. Okay, let's just take a look at those chords in open position before we move on. So C minor was like so. A minor, that's 2nd fret D and G, 1st fret B, open A and open top E. The G minor, bar across the top 3 strings at the 3rd, bring your 2nd finger over to play the root note on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. I'm muting the A, but I could also play the minor 3rd there at the 1st fret, but I don't like the sound of that. E minor, very simple. Just take away your 1st finger to play an open G. D major to D minor. So you flatten the F sharp to F natural. And there we have our shapes. So if I just play a little bit of our key cycle exercise, just to give you an idea of how you can move these around the neck. I don't want to bore you and play this over and over and over again. So there's our C minor. And we can play the octave, the movable shape. Now F minor, next position, next position. B flat minor. E flat minor, find my fingering there. And there we go. A flat minor. D flat minor, bit nasty that one. Bit of a stretch, playing that C minor shape, movable shape, that low down the fingerboard. Okay, D minor shape, G minor, E minor, D minor. Obviously I'm calling out shapes, they're not the chord itself. And F sharp, G flat. One more, we'll do B minor. Oops, nearly played the wrong one there. So do that again. A shape, G shape. Always spell the word. Or even better, connect the root notes. That's a much more musical and a beneficial way of doing this exercise. Okay, you get the basic idea of how I'm just moving up the fingerboard and connecting all of these shapes together. And it's great for, practicing chord progressions as well. Say, for instance, we're playing something quite straightforward, maybe G major to E minor, maybe C major to A minor. Okay, so one person can play G, E minor, C major, A minor. And we can move that around the neck. So G, E minor there, C major, A minor, and back to G major, E minor, bit of a tricky change there. C major, A minor, G major, E minor, C major, A minor, G major, E minor, C major, and A minor. Now you can see I've played the same chord progression, just gradually moving up the neck. And again, you can see how straight away we're able to navigate much wider positions than, say, just open position. And if you're trying to construct maybe 2 guitar parts, you might be playing a very simple cover tune in a band, or you might be writing your own material, how you can play one guitar maybe playing the power chords. I could have actually played the C there instead of moving there. And then the other guitar might want to arpeggiate, so G, E minor, C major, A minor. And you can hear that it's a much more musical way of arranging your parts, and with different guitar sounds. You know, if I click on my phaser pedal, I might be able to sort of get this sort of very Jimi Hendrix. While the other guitar is, holding the open position power chords or other power chords. So it's a very, very cool technique for you to get down. And like I said, all of this is really going to come into play when we start learning scales and arpeggios as well.